W.F. House presents an unabridged recording of Karolina or the Torn Curtain by Maryla Szymiczkowa, narrated by Esther Wane. Prologue, in which somebody's night of pleasure ends in a rather unpleasant way, and the platters have to wait a while before returning to their place in the sideboard. By the time Commissioner Stanisław Jednorog had reached the beach below the Rożnowski villa, the golden bugles had finished sounding the reveille at the Austrian barracks on Wawel Hill, visible above the river Vistula in the pale April sunlight that was breaking through the vestiges of mist. Two inquisitive housemaids were looking out of the second-floor windows of a neo-Gothic tower, marvelling at all they saw. The policeman walking along the riverbank, the three soldiers standing slightly to one side, and above all, the corpse of a young woman stretched out on the wet sand. She was lying on her back with her hair loose, covering her face and flowing in a wide chestnut wave across her breast. Her white linen blouse and thick navy blue skirt, still damp, clung tightly to her young body, which couldn't have been more than 20 years old. If a student from the Academy of Fine Art had come this way, he'd probably have thought of a pre-Raphaelite Ophelia. But at this time of day in the Dubniki district, the only people looking at the corpse were the housemaids, the police constables, the commissioner, and the soldiers. By their bright blue coats, red trousers, and caps, they could be identified as dragoons from Archduke Karl's 3rd Galician Lancers. In short, none of them knew much about art. At a pinch, the wife of a local fisherman could have come this way, or an itinerant peddler, but as luck would have it, there was no art student on the scene. If there were, he could have stopped nearby, rested a foot on a stone, and recorded this moment in his sketchbook with a few swiftly drawn lines. Daybreak on the 17th of April, 1895, when the waters of the Vistula had tossed the girl's body onto the shore, with a brick-red stain of congealed blood on her blouse like a large, dark poppy, at the very spot where hours before her heart had been beating. The public liked a dramatic image, especially if there was a clear allegory painted in the background, a dour old man in a cape, symbolizing death, for instance, or a broken lily. Two more policemen appeared from around a bend in the river, cadets with barely a shadow of blonde down on their upper lips. The housemaids looking down from the tower took far more notice of them than of the venerable commissioner, who was more likely to appeal to an equally venerable matron. In his outstretched hands, one of the young policemen was carrying a rag dripping with water. When they laid it on the sand beside the body, even the maids in the turret could see that it was a woman's jacket, found on the shore or in the riverside rushes, and made of the same navy blue cloth as the skirt. Then they stood staring, now at the corpse, now at the ground, and now at the soldiers. The police doctor, Albin Schwartz, came up behind them. He must have been here earlier on to certify the death, but now he was getting rather bored waiting for the body to be transported to the mortuary, which might explain why he had gone off with the young policeman as if to search for clues, but actually to take a walk, though for mid-April it was still cold. Someone called from inside the Rożnowski villa, so the maids banged the little windows shut and ran to see to their duties. It was the Wednesday after Easter, the day for putting away the best dinner service in the cavernous sideboards, the celebration silver and the large platters on which the blessed sausage rings, garnished hams, mazurek tarts and babkas made with 5 dozen eggs had lately been displayed. There was no time for gawking. Part 1. Chapter 1, in which the story starts like a Hitchcock film, although he wasn't born until 4 years later. Zofia runs into her cousin and is affronted, and Ignacy goes on an unexpected outing. It all began with the earthquake. On the evening of Easter Saturday, when the Turbotynskis came home from Resurrection Mass at the cathedral, Zofia was already, to put it mildly, in a less than ideal mood. They had set off on the return journey from Wawel Hill in the company of Professor Rostofinski and his wife. He was a faculty secretary at the Academy of Learning, where Zofia wanted to obtain a post for Ignacy, while Mrs. Rostofinska was taking a rather active part in collecting money for the renovation of the cathedral, which lately had absorbed the attention of almost all the society ladies. Unfortunately,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?